So, after covering two completely trash factions, I am gonna change pace a little bit and talk about a faction that still isn't really good and doesn't get a lot of use in this entire game, but is a lot better than, say, the Separatists or the Tuscans, and these are the Clone Troopers. Um, the Clone Troopers were one of the first almost completely pay-to-win factions because Rex, Cody, and Echo were released in the Rhodium packs and weren't farmable until the ship and Zeta update. And while Fives and Clone Sergeant were launch day characters. So I'm just gonna go with the most important and most useful character out of them all, which is Captain Rex. Captain Rex is a character that probably nobody is unfamiliar with in this game or in the Star Wars canon. If you've seen the Clone Wars TV show, he is one of the main characters there, and he was also one of the characters that did not get a rework whatsoever, but still is amazing to this day. And the reason of it is his leadership ability, first and foremost. Clone allies gain 20% max health, other allies half. Whenever an ally suffers a critical hit, all clone allies gain 15% turn meter, and other allies half. So this is amazing because every time your characters are getting critically hit, everyone is getting turn meter. And as you know, speed and turn meter is the name of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And every time, if characters are using AoE attacks that's hitting your entire team, that's a lot of turn meter. Even if the rest of your teams are not clones, that is still 7.5 times 5. That's a lot of turn meter for every single character on your team. So Rex doesn't have to be run with clone troopers, and actually it's probably better if you don't. You can put any number of characters under him and they will do amazingly. So he stood the test of time from the Zeta Maul lead, CLS lead, Jedi Training Rey, Darth Traya finally was able to completely nullify Rex, but right now, because Revan is a dominant meta, some players have been able to use Rex to good effect with using the Triumvirate under him. So he is an amazing character, and the leadership is the vast majority of it. The second most important part of Captain Rex is squad discipline. Dispel all negative status effects, grants tenacity up for 3 turns, gain a lot of turn meter, 60% turn meter for clones and 10% for each dispelled debuff, and other allies half of that. So this is amazing. You're first dispelling all debuffs, you're giving tenacity up, and you're giving a ton of turn meter for your other characters. For all characters. And this gives them a lot of speed, makes them immune from further debuffs, and is one of the best cleanse moves in this entire game. And his 2 other abilities are pretty fine, pretty okay. Subdue deals quite a lot of damage with the max health damage, and Impeding Shot removes turn meter, so he was good in the Rancor raid early on, but every character removes turn meter now, so it's not super important, but you still get utility from his 2 other skills. Rex's ship is okay, it's not amazing, it's not terrible either, but as a character, he's one of the characters you definitely want to farm up, gear up, and he can be used as a universal leader for many of your characters. Next up, let's go to Cody. Cody again was also released in Rhodium, and you can farm him right now through Guild Store and Fleet Arena. And his main attribute is his leadership again. Clones gain 30% crit chance, other allies have. Cody gains 60% defense for each living clone ally, and other clone allies have. So these are all fine. The crit chance is good. Defense is good, but not amazing. And clone allies, this is part of his Zeta. Clone allies recover 5% of their max protection whenever they use the basic ability. And this used to be really good when the Zeta update came out, and you want to have this ability for the tank raid. You see a 2/12 attack, calling all clone allies to assist, and that's a lot of basic attacks. And they will heal themselves, heal the protection up, and they're gonna stay alive for a long while. It is not a good Zeta right now, and I definitely don't suggest you give him a Zeta now. I did it because I wanted to help out my guild and get General Kenobi, but it's not super useful now. Just for many reasons. There's many better teams for Phase 2 and Phase 4. You get teams that can solo multiple phases and even the entire raid, so it's not really worth it. You're not going to get a lot of utilities from the Ghost Company Commander Leadership Zeta, simply because clones don't really do a lot of damage. They do chip damage, and they don't really have a lot of other stuff. 2/12's attack, call all clone allies and one random ally. Stuns primary target if it scores at least 2 critical hits. This is an AoE. Alpha Strike just gains turn meter for Cody. So yeah, his leadership is good, but his other attacks and the other clones' attacks don't really do much, don't really have much in the way of damage or utility. So that's why the clone faction is not that amazing. Next up, Fives. Five was one of the most annoying characters when the game first started. He counterattacks, he calls assists, and he gives speed down, and when the Omega update came out, he also double taps. So if you hit him, he's gonna counterattack like crazy, and he has one of the highest health, protection, and armor ratings in the entire game. That was true definitely back in the days. I'm not quite sure if it's still the same. His combined fire deals more damage if the assist ally is clone. His leadership is pretty bad. I gave him the Omega because of ships. Defense, and that's literally it. Tactical awareness, that's what gives him the counter chance and counter damage. He has a Zeta. This is alongside the Cody leadership Zeta. These are the only 2 Zetas on a clone team, and if Cody's Zeta is not good, this is bad. Gain more turn meter whenever clone allies take damage, and half for non-clone allies. It's fine. It used to be okay. People probably invested it for the AAT rate as well, but it's just not good anymore. So definitely don't give him the Zeta. Next up, we have Echo. Echo is an okay character again in a clone squad. He is the only one that has Dispel, and it's an AoE Dispel, so it's very good. His basic just grants turn meter for another ally. Buys a book, recovers health when they use a basic ability, so this combined with Cody's Zeta leadership, clone allies are going to recover health and protection when they use a basic attack. So that is pretty good, I guess. But again, not amazing. Follow up, he has 60% chance to assist clone allies and 34 non-clone allies. Again, good in a Zeta Cody leadership, because you'll be getting these extra basic attacks and just healing himself. And last but not least is Clone Sergeant. Phase 1, he is one of the original light side characters you're going to get from the very beginning of the game, and he's good attacker. If he crits, he's gonna get 50% turn meter on his basic, and he hits hard, fairly hard at least. Suppressive fire deals physical damage to all enemies and remove 50% of their turn meters. It's a solid, like a crowd control move. And concentrated fire gives him crit chance up and crit damage and offense up whenever he critically hits. He's a solid attacker that deals quite a bit of damage, and he's going to be the main damage output in a clone team. And what's good about him is every time Cody uses his 2/12's attack and calls Sergeant or if Fives calls Sergeant to attack, he's going to get that turn meter. And if he uses his basic attack, he's going to get that turn meter. So he's going to go and go and go and do a lot of damage. It's kind of like Geonosian Soldier in that respect. I think Geonosian Soldier also gets 50% turn meter on crits, although that's both of his skills, so it's not exactly the same, but it's comparable. So Sergeant is going to go again and again and do a lot of critical damage. So the clone faction as a whole, you would want to have Cody as your leader, and Fives, Echo, and Sergeant, and you can put in a number of other characters. You don't want to put in Rex, you rather want him to lead another team of random characters that work well under a Rex lead. And so in that fifth, you can put a number of characters. The classic one is Leia for AAT raid, but of course they're not doing AAT raids anymore. Aayla Secura is a good one because she also crits a lot and will help reduce the cooldown on 212's attack. She also calls Assist, which could also crit from her basic, and she stuns every time she crits, so that's a lot of utility for your clones. Aayla is a good bet, and of course you have to remember that the clone synergy is not just within the faction of clone troopers. If you go to Galactic Republic, which is, I don't know my alphabet apparently, R2 has Galactic Republic synergies, General Kenobi has clone synergies. I don't remember if Jedi Anakin does. Yeah, Jedi Anakin has clone synergies, as well as Plo Koon. So you can use these characters as well, but Aayla Secura is probably your best bet. And all in all, the clone troopers are a fine team, but you definitely want to use them on offense for if you ever run them in Territory Wars, or perhaps in Grand Arena when it comes out. You will want to use them for offense because the AI doesn't really know what to do with them, especially the Cody 212's attack. It might attack a enemy unit that's almost defeated and just waste the ability and have a lot of cooldown remaining, or it might attack a character that has, say, crit immunity, and again just does not reduce the cooldown at all. So you definitely want to run them on offense. But that said, they're still not a great team. There's characters characters and teams they can take out, but they don't really stand up against the meta or CLS, not at all. Like CLS, they can win against droids, depends, and they don't stand up against JTR or Night Sisters or bounty hunters, scoundrels, anything like that. So they're on a 5-tier system, they're either a low C or a high D. So they're not very good, but they do have synergy with each other, and they're much better than like Jawas or Tuskens. So that's something, right? If you have a Zeta Cody, give it a try. If you don't put it on him. It's not worth it. So I think that's all I have to say about the Clone Troopers factions. And next up, I will be reviewing the Jawas, and that's going to be an interesting topic as well. So thank you for watching.